bit optimizedness in when you play finals rugby, it sort of look like that. Is it something that?
Look, I haven't got really. I saw it as a game of two halves. I thought Munster was superb in the first half, and they put us under enormous pressure on defence. We can say it's our worst defensive half. It's only our worst defensive half because of how well Munster played in that half. The way those pullbacks kept the ball in hand. We lost. I think I said at halftime we'd lost 5 out of the 6 contestables. In the second half, I thought when we started going front door, started putting them under pressure, I actually think we were nanoseconds away from winning that game. Just needed that extra score. Where I would agree with you, Leighton, is that when we're chasing towards the end there, which we're maybe trying to go out the back door a bit much. And so at that point, I do agree with you. Especially towards as I say, when we're chasing the game. I think I got something very wrong because that our rugby. Munster thoroughly deserved to win that game, and there's no question. And to my mind, they were 12-7. They had 2 tries disallowed in the first half. The first half damage could have been bigger. Having said that, we could have got a try towards the end. But it may be naive of us not to change our game model in that pitch in June. So if you come with line speed, high line speed, and you miss the read, you can't turn and recover. Your transition, counter-attack, stepping game gone, and your scrum game's gone. And that's probably the 3 pillars of our game. But that'll be different next season. I suppose you don't change your game model for one game. But I thought the fight that Munster had when we came back and threw the kitchen sink in the second half was remarkable. And I honestly genuinely believe they deserve to win the game.
Yesterday, that was short, but do you see the URC traffic crowd from your mom? Can you just give us a reaction on how it felt at the moment?
I was surprised. She can't remember it now, of course, but it was it was brilliant. It was a lovely gesture from the URC. It was brilliant, very emotional. Lots of reasons to be emotional about this. Obviously Kitshoff, the people of Cape Town coming out, and so it's, at this time we've got to try and be disciplined and look back what we've achieved in this connection. It doesn't feel like a now. And I just want to say before I sort of preach too much, to say thank you to the media, the South African media especially, who've really supported us in this narrative of promoting the rugby and the connection with the people. It's so great. Like I said yesterday about the ticket prices and that, it's so great what the URC, SA Rugby, Western Province Rugby have laid on, what you guys have brought into the narrative, or what we've been going on about getting Cape Town smiling, that it's such a special occasion. So it's hard for us now, Kitshoff and I, it's very tough, very, very tough. We really, really wanted to win this cup. But we've got to try and be disciplined and look at the bigger picture. So I've just been trying to tell them to save the tears for the pillow later, and maybe the beers for now, because we did something special.
Just on that, just the message of the change room, some of the disappointment. I suppose it's quite a lot of pride at the moment, given what happened over the course of the season, but just your words to the players and just give us a sense of what that was like.
No, I just said to them afterwards, I thought in that second half we had quite a bit of fault correction to do at half-time. And I think they got that right. We won the contestable battle. We started bubbling properly. Our defence looked sharper. We started denting. What Mike used to, you were on their line 14-12 up with 10 minutes to go or 12 minutes to go. I think if we got us 2 scores ahead, we would have won the game. So I said a great response in the second half. We all know there was an error or 2 in the back, 5 or 6 minutes, but we're not going to you can't hang somebody out for that. It's just not our style. So we had enough time to do. I said that, and I just said, we never wrote at the start of the season, retain the URC title. What we did was we wrote down, increase our depth, prove that we belong at the top table of URC or European rugby, increase the sense of belonging of everybody in the group, from the ground staff to the everybody must feel a sense of belonging. The non-playing squad, the 12 injured guys that are sitting there. And just prove that we belong and make Cape Town smile. So, unfortunately, it's a bit weird sitting here. So that's what I told the team. We've ticked off our goals, yet we're all feeling shit. Sorry, miserable. So that's what I said. I said, keep the tears for the try and be disciplined enough to keep the tears for the pillow, because there will be tears later.
Robert, one thing I don't, obviously one of the things before outside factors, but I mean, you briefly referred to the field. There was an incident, for example, I think it was Dan Duplessis slip. You almost thought, well, it would be, he would be running in, but, the field was just disgrace.
Steve, I'm just so acutely aware of what Munster have done to win these 5 or 6 games, to outplay us like they did in the second half. I just hate mentioning the field because it's going to sound like I'm trying to say this is the thing. I'll tell you, the referee I thought was absolutely superb. I thought it was a strong, really excellent refereeing performance. But the field was a nightmare for us. And that's why I say I'll take it on me that maybe we should have changed our mind. Slow down the line speed. Just kick contestables. Don't try the counter attack. Don't try and go like you suggest later out the back. You know what I mean? Just go front door. And maybe those are the things I got wrong because those are playing. It was tough conditions for us to play our game model in. I should have adjusted our game model, definitely.
Speaking on the model and how you want to play, can you just give us a brief summary of how the discussion was at halftime?
The halftime discussion was that we weren't working hard enough. That was around the contestable kicks because they felt that their chases were getting straight onto our receivers. So that we call that bubbling. So we weren't working hard in the bubble. I thought we didn't work hard enough on the couple of 22 entries we got. We got turned over when Herschel was the only cleaner, and a couple of forwards didn't work to that breakdown. What else did we decide to work on? We just felt like we weren't pushing forwards. Without being too technical, in our defence, we weren't pushing. We call it, doesn't matter, hunting on the inside. So we're allowing them to step in the inside. So they were taking out 3 or 4 defenders by stepping inside, and which meant we were numbers down one side. I don't think we worked as is our culture. And like Munster did work in that first half. And I do think we got a change in behaviour in the second half. For the second half, I think if you bought a ticket in the south stand, you didn't see much rugby today. That both halves were down on this side here.
Winning is great, but at moments like these, we saw the players today after the match, very emotional, very sad, disappointed. What do you do now to lift them up again? Obviously, some of them will be off the bottom and stuff. What is your message to the players?
We are. I mean, there's some guys who are pretty broken. The message to the players was let's go and have a drink or a cool drink together. Reflect on a really, really good season. To those guys going to the Springboks, may there be as many of you as possible, and we're completely behind you and enjoy it. The rest of us enjoy it. We'll try and pick it up in the Currie Cup next week in Kimberley. It's going to be a slightly different occasion to today. But I think we've taken a massive step forward this season. Last season, I felt like we were redlining the whole time, and this thing, I just feel like we got more depth, more substance, more understanding. And jeepers, when we get there, Dessa Field here, it's going to be fun now.
Just on that, you spoke about depth and how far you've come. You haven't got over the line yet, but what do you need to do to compete in the European Cup? Because that's obviously also
Yeah. I think we're a little way off that. If we'd been going off to La Rochelle in a semi-final and then come back to play a URC quarter-final, I'm sure we wouldn't be here today. You'd all be somewhere else there. We have to. There are going to be. It sounds like there are going to be adjustments to the cap. We need bigger and meaner squads. You know what I mean? Our depth at the moment are guys who are doing nicely in the Currie Cup. Really promising youngsters. That's not going to solve the Heineken Cup problem. You know what I mean? Not for a while. You almost need to have this model where, let's say, just hypothetically, we got a big European Cup game away. Kitshoff, France, and if he was still here, Kitshoff, France, and Joseph have gone to that, and we've got a front row sitting in Cape Town who can stay home and prep for that next URC game. Like if we went to Exeter, we should have a team back here that's really good enough to beat Munster here. And I think that's going to come. I think in our case, it's going to come over the next year. We're going to do an equity deal, and then we'll invest in. It's going to have to be the sort of sharper end of the squad. Our younger structures of the Currie Cup and the depth and the promise and the pathways here are absolutely brilliant. We just probably need a few more players to compete, and that requires an adjustment to the cap and investment into Western Women's Rugby. Yeah. I mean, we've done this under administration. Don't forget, administration doesn't work with. It's what do you call it? It's not frugality. What they call it in politics. No, not for you. I got austerity. Thank you. It's austerity.
Ooit Stormers ondersteunen. Dus wel fantaseren in wat het hier in 2 jaar terug.
In Afrikaans.
Alsjeblieft.
Ja, ek is bietjie moeg om Afrikaans te praat in 'n perskonferensie, maar ja, is teleurstellend. Ek dink die resultaat is teleurstellend, maar wat my trots gemaak het en ek het dit ook genoem in die kleedkamer na die tyd is soos ons missie gewees vir die jaar en daar word dit al baie genoem soos ek het Cape Town Smiling. So vir my was dit ongelooflik om te sien hoe die ouens tawwe games gehad het tydens die hele URC weg. Leinster weggespeel, ons hand opgesteek, net gewys hoe die ouens gegroei het mentally en physically, hoe die ouens net begin verstaan het hoe die soos half die noordelike halfrond rugby werk. So wat vir my trots gemaak het is die hele seisoen van dag 1 af toe ons begin het, na laas jaar begin het, hoe die ouens half beheer geneem het en in haar rolle ingestap het en half gewerk het om tot hierdie punt te kom is nou baie teleurstellend wat vandag gebeur het, maar nog steeds trots op so 'n seisoen. Ek bedoel, kon maklik uitgeval het in 'n kwart eind teen die Bulle, maar nog steeds daai guts en determinasie gewys om met al die pad tot in die final te vat. Yeah, it was like when that final whistle blew, it like almost felt like it shouldn't have happened like that. It was like I felt we totally in control of the second half. I felt like we were on top of Munster. I think they were scrambling to try and keep us out of the try line. But yeah, when that final whistle went, it was trying to hold the tears back, and it was all about like thinking, and I also said it in the circle on the field, was I'm extremely proud of what the guys have achieved during the season. It's very disappointing, the result tonight, but the guys can hold their head up, they can enjoy each other's company. There's some true friendships that were built throughout the season, guys that really care for each other. So for me, it's tough. It's tough to leave this awesome union like this, but the guys can be proud and they can look forward to next season, and I'm going to look forward to playing the Stormers. I know it's going to be a tough game, and I already made an agreement with France.
Coming for you.
Yeah, I already made an agreement with France and said, gentlemen, so we're going to both play with multi-studs and just look after each other on the field. But
We're choosing Dietland.
yeah, but yeah, no, I'm proud of the Stormers, and I'm proud to be associated for so many years with such an awesome brand and club. No, 100%. And that just shows the character of this team and the depth we're trying to build, or that Dobson and them try to build, is it's a real sense of belonging. So a guy that plays, for instance today, like they were in the warm-up, there was about 5 or 6 guys from the Currie Cup who played a tough game last night against the Lions and then prepared to come through to the stadium to warm up with us. So that just shows the character and that this team has. So for me it was, I think in a year and 2 years from now, the Stormers are going to be able to do that. They're going to have a starting, say, front row, and they're going to have the second tier front row, but those guys will be good enough to replace, or if a guy's tour and then the next week the second guys play just as well and just compete as hard for that starting spot. So I think that's where European rugby it's all about. There's so many games, the season is so long that you need that depth, but what's encouraging is the young guys actually do push through and put their hand up every weekend.
Yeah, I think but Munster's got a very powerful, great rugby history, tradition, story. To go and win 5 games, 6 games in a row, Because I mean, I think that idea of winning, every team winning at home, like we saw a bit in the Heineken Cup, didn't we? It got quite formulaic. The home team was going to win. So from that point of view, great. Yeah, and I think this occasion, spectacular, absolutely spectacular. And I say last season felt like a local derby that happened to be called the URC. This felt like international. Yeah, so that I agree with you, Craig. Yeah, brilliant.
After the last Munster game, you said there were no silver linings. But in this game, in that game, you guys were probably sort of unlucky. But in this game, in their first half, it looked at some point that it might actually turn out to be a one-sided final. And the players looked out of their feet at one stage. I mean, obviously, because all the attacking they had to do as well. You must have been really proud of if there is a silver lining. I mean, you see the spoke of the character. But to come back, I mean, the narrative of the game, if you had won, if you'd held on at the end, would probably have been your sort of grit, if you know what I'm saying. Like, very much like Munster. I mean, you are similar. I mean, like, would you agree with that? You are similar in a way to Munster. That's why they won.
Yeah, and our grit is something we pride ourselves. Our fights, as I said, like we got dog, but dog. I don't know how you pronounce it. But and you're right. I mean, we had a scrum on I'm going to get the minute wrong. 72. We felt we should have done a certain kicking play down this side to the left. We went the other way. Ended up a kicking thing. Ended up with a charge down. Ended up with a try. Ended up the URC. That's simple. If we'd probably gone on the lever and come down this way and put the sort of putter in down this side here, on with Damien Ozassi's left foot, we could have trapped them in their 22 and we would have got across the line. Yeah, so probably one thing what you just said now, which was worrying us in the game. I don't think I've seen us looking so tired, and it may have been a product of often that is a product of making too many tackles. That Munster physicality. I think that first half, honestly, I thought we were in trouble. Yeah, and the irony was if we were that far from finishing the half 12-12, wasn't it? Which would have been an unfair reflection. The first half Munster was superb. I've never seen our defence under pressure like that in this whole tournament. So maybe that's what made us look tired like we did.
Well, we're quite big on giving players opportunities. Obviously, you had two separate scores with Stormers and the promised side of the Currie Cup. Now, the URC players filtered on, obviously, excluding the block players, the non-block players, Russ, John, and then receiving.
Yeah, I think there's a human element to it as well. Yeah, I don't know if those of you who saw the Currie Cup game last week, we lost 34-12. But hell, they put in a good performance. You get 34-12 and you get 34-12. That was 34-12, if that makes any sense. So I was proud of them. So I think we'll give some guys, guys like Marcel and Villy haven't had much time. Zassi was injured for a long time, but I'm not going to go and flick and just bump all the Stormers down there now. No. These guys get a nice squad. Some guys have played tonight, some of the French guys. Some of those guys have been doing, like Connor and Adre Smith were awesome last night in the Lions. I don't think it's really fair on them. So your season's over, here comes Ruben van Heerden. So it'll be a bit of a mix, but we'll give the Currie Cup a scrap now. And have a go. We probably have to win both our games, Sharks, Griquas and things, and we definitely will give it a go. It was always our plan was to try, we said at the start, didn't we, to scrape into the Currie Cup semi-finals. I knew it was tough. The truth is we've been playing URC rugby 3 or 4 weeks longer than some of the other franchises. So, and they've URC'd up. So that is tough. That is tough for us, but we will scrap. But I think, and please, I don't want this to sound wrong, to win the SA Shield, which are the best team home and away, the local derbies by 15 points. Domestically, I feel comfortable where we are, with the South African franchises. But obviously, the Currie Cup's got massive emotion and pride and everything. So we'll give it a go. But it's not going to be at the expense of all those guys have been fighting. It won't. I'm not going to suggest. It's going to be a mixture. We'll drop something this week and maybe more in the week after. But as I say, like an example would be those 2 locks. Connor going really well there. Is it really fair to him to say, okay, here's Marvin Orrie or Marvin's with a box, But you know what I mean.
I think the trick, especially in that first half, to navigate Munster's blockers. They were quite, I don't want to say good at it, but they looked to be blocking you every chance they got, either when you were chasing or when you were defending.
It's talking technique. Like rugby tactics or technically now is going to be difficult for me because, to be honest, it's a bit of a blur. I can't remember much of the game. But yeah, I think Munster just pitched up today. They played like out of their skin to disallow tries. So we were really in trouble that first half. I think, as I've also said, like we came with a different energy second half and try and like first half is almost like you felt you got caught up in the moment and Munster just outplayed us, and it could have been completely a different scoreline at halftime and we would have been in deep trouble and chased the game massively. But it was definitely a game of two halves today. It was first half scraping, trying to do everything we can to defend our line, almost out on our feet, and then second half I felt we were on top of them and they were scraping and trying to just hold them for dear life. But to be honest, I can't remember much of the tactics or technical stuff from the game. It's a bit of a blur.
Stormers, the build-up to this year's final was felt a little different.
Yes.
Do you feel that there's perhaps more burden on you going into this game?
No, it actually felt like they felt pressure, but it was so nice. It was just the occasion and as I say, the ticket sales story and all that. It felt there was pressure from that, but it just felt like it didn't feel a scary one. It just felt like a hell of a nice occasion, and there's that pressure that came with it. I don't think we were gripped by a fear of losing or anything like that. We just wanted to make the people happy, give them a good occasion. Maybe that, after 5 or 6 at Vasco's, they'll feel better about us. But yeah, it didn't feel. No, it was a very special experience for us, Liam. I think that's am I fair. Is that fair?
Yeah, it's fair.
Steve, now that it is all over, just your final fronting message to the 56,000 who were there today, and I guess the union itself and the people who followed you so closely and passionately for.
Yeah, no, it's incredible honor. I mean, this union's been absolutely amazing for me. Stormers has been. It's through dark times, through good times. Yeah, for me, it's just a massive honor, and just playing in front of 56,000 people tonight was massive, and getting the cheer. I almost cried 10 minutes before the end of the game, just seeing everyone stand up and acknowledging. But yeah, I'm really proud, and if Dobson wants me back one day, I'll definitely come back. If it's as an old player or as a guy who just sits on the bench for maybe another guy, just advice or mentor. But yeah, I'm extremely proud of this union, and extremely proud to be part of such an amazing club.
You can come help bring Brocky through.
Mental Brocky.
Mental Brocky.
We've got Ulster at home next season, so we'll hopefully see.
Yes.